Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Now we are coming to the introduction of embryology. This course is entitled as General Embryology and it will be taught by me, inshallah. And course outlines are study of different developmental stages of embryo. In this, you will see different stages of the embryo development, different types of the placenta, which is termed as placentation in domestic animals, and embryonic origin of each body organ will be seen when we will discuss different systems of the body, and learning outcome of the course will be described. You will be able to describe developmental stages of embryo and embryonic origin of each organ by the end of this course. These are the course contents or the topics. First of all, you will see that how you can define embryology. What is embryology actually, or introduction to embryology will be discussed. Later on, we will see the first week of development of the embryo. What are the different changes or events which will occur during the first week of development of the embryo. Then we will go to see the details of the events of second week of embryo development, and what are the different changes they will occur during this week, and the process of gastrulation or the other processes will be seen in the third week of development of the embryo. Later on, we will study the changes or the events of the embryo development occurring during third week to eighth week of development. And lastly, we will see different placenta types in different domestic species or animals, in equine, in bovine species, in caprine species, and we will compare it with the human as well. Uh, the book recommended for this particular part of the course is Medical Embryology, and it is Langman's Medical Embryology. Uh, Here it is written as 12th edition. You can take 13th edition, or I think so 14th edition is also available. So this will be a very good helping book to study the general embryology course, and the name of the book is Langman's Medical Embryology. You can buy it, or you can take photocopies of certain chapters of this book, but I think you should purchase this book from some good medical bookstore, because embryological diagrams are usually they are colorful, and different parts of the embryo development they are labeled with different colors, so it will be very good to understand different events of the embryological development with the colored pictures. एग्जाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से अगर हम देखें तो पैटर्न इज सम ऑफ द एमसीक्यूज विल बी आस्क्ड फ्रॉम every part of the this course, and certain fill in the blanks will be asked, certain short questions regarding embryo development, maybe from first week, second week, or third week, or from the placenta type will be asked, and certain diagrams you have to draw and label these diagrams accordingly. जिस तरीके से पूछा जाएगा उसके accordingly आप इसको जो है वो उसके accordingly answer देंगे. So what is developmental anatomy? The process of embryology and ontogeny are combined together under the main heading, which is called as developmental anatomy. What is ontogeny? Ontogeny, or also known as ontogenesis, is the organization and development of an organism which is actually based on the visible morphological characteristics. So it will both of these things, that embryology and ontogeny, will come under the heading of branch of anatomy which is termed as developmental anatomy. Embryology is actually branch of veterinary anatomy, that it is actually a subheading of the developmental anatomy, or subfield of developmental anatomy, in which you will embryo is unborn, and logos is to study, is a branch of veterinary anatomy that deals with the development of an organism from fertilization to the birth or hatching in case of bird species. And ontogeny includes period of growth of an organism, the period of reproduction and senescence. सेंसेंस जो है वो किसी भी एनिमल की जो डिक्लाइन होती हैं एक्टिविटीज, फिजिकल एक्टिविटीज या रिप्रोडक्टिव एक्टिविटीज जो है डिक्लाइन होती हैं, उनको सेंसेंस कहते हैं. सो इट इज सेंसेंस एक्चुअली, you can define the senescence is a period from birth to death during which it is a state of being old, यानी किसी चीज़ का पुराना होना, उसकी एजिंग का जो प्रोसेस है, और the process or condition of deterioration with the time or with the age will be termed as senescence. So under the developmental anatomy you will also see the embryology. And embryology जो है वो हमें इसलिए भी ज़रूरी है क्योंकि हम इसमें जो congenital disorders हैं या anomalies हैं उनको भी study कर सकते हैं. Congenital disorders या anomalies जो हैं, they can be defined as structural or functional anomalies that occur during intrauterine period. So these can be also helpful. Not only we can see the normal development of an organism, but also we can see the faulty changes in the embryo development. We will see what is embryology. It is originated from Greek word embryon, which means unborn embryo, embryo or unborn. It is a study of developing embryo. It is a branch of biology that studies the prenatal development of gametes, which are actually sex cells, fertilization process, and development of embryos and fetuses. Additionally, embryology includes and encompasses the study of congenital disorders that occur before birth, and this is called as teratology. Congenital disorders meaning these are the anomalies that can be derived or that can be defined as the structural or functional anomalies that occur during intrauterine period. इंट्रायूट्राइन पीरियड के अंदर जो भी एनोमलीज या जो डिसऑर्डर्स आते हैं स्ट्रक्चर के हिसाब से या फंक्शनल एस्पेक्ट के हिसाब से, उनको हम जो है वो कंजेनिटल डिसऑर्डर्स कहते हैं. तो अल्टीमेटली दिस विल बी एक्चुअली पार्ट ऑफ द एम्ब्रोलॉजी कोर्स, कि जब हम डेवलपमेंट देखते हैं एम्ब्रियो की डेवलपमेंट, तो उससे रिलेटेड जो एनोमलीज हैं वो भी हम उसको अच्छी तरह से अंडरस्टैंड कर सकें. So why we study embryology? It gives understanding of the development of an individual from zygote to adult. It explains the process of evolution. जो इर्तिका का या जो चेंजेस आती हैं फ्रॉम स्टार्टिंग ऑफ द लाइफ, जो उसके अंदर जो डिफरेंसेस आते हैं या चेंजेस आती हैं, उस प्रोसेस को हम जो है वो स्टडी कर सकते हैं. इट एक्सप्लेन्स द प्रोसेस ऑफ टेराटोलॉजी. फॉल्टी डेवलपमेंट यानी जैसे जैसे नॉर्मल डेवलपमेंट हम देखेंगे तो उसको हम डिफ्रेंशिएट कर सकते हैं फ्रॉम फॉल्टी, और जो एनॉमलीज आती हैं उनके हिसाब से उसको हम देख सकते हैं. इट गिव्स द अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ टोपोग्राफिक एनाटॉमी ऑफ एन ऑर्गन एंड सिस्टम्स. We can understand the study or the structural changes which are going to occur during the period of embryology with reference to the relative position of the organs and systems of the body. It gives understanding of the process of regeneration, how different tissues of the body they can regenerate, and it gives understanding of the factors responsible for malignancy in adult tissues. कि कौन से फैक्टर्स हैं जो ट्यूमरस कंडीशंस को या जो कार्सिनोमास हैं उनको उनके लिए रिस्पॉन्सिबल है, और हम उसको कैसे जो है वो अंडरस्टैंड कर सकते हैं. So when we will see the life cycle of an individual, it is usually divided into two parts. First is prenatal life, which is just called as before birth, life before birth, and postnatal life, which is the life after birth. Prenatal life is further divided into two stages. Embryonic stage, it is a period of development between fertilization of ova to the attachment of conceptus to the endometrium. So the conceptus is actually the part or that fertilized ovum, which is actually going to be adhere to the inner wall of the uterus, which is called as endometrium. So prenatal life is the time after fertilization till the baby borns, and it is divided into pre-embryonic life. एक एम्ब्रॉनिक लाइफ है, एम्ब्रॉनिक स्टेज से पहले भी एक प्री एम्ब्रॉनिक लाइफ आती है जिसमें फर्टिलाइजेशन से टिल द एंड ऑफ द सेकेंड वीक हम उसको कहते हैं इंट्रा यूट्राइन जो है वो उसको हम प्री एम्ब्रॉनिक लाइफ कहते हैं. और एम्ब्रॉनिक स्टेज क्या है, एट द स्टार्ट ऑफ द थर्ड वीक till the end of the 8th week, this will be actually called as embryonic state. There will be attachment of the conceptus to the endometrium wall, which is the innermost layer of the uterine wall. Fetus is a term, or fetal life or fetal period is the starting of the 9th week till birth. It is a period of development between attachment of conceptus to the uterus to birth and characterized by development and growth of the body systems. जहाँ पे बॉडी के जो डिफरेंट सिस्टम्स हैं उस वो डेवलपमेंट उनकी होती है, उस पीरियड को हम फीटल पीरियड या फीटल लाइफ जो है वो उसके नाम से जानते हैं. Postnatal life, it is comprised of post mean after. So comprised of 4 developmental stages of individual. Neonatal stage क्या है कि early period of an individual from birth to physiological independence. जब तक वो अपनी चीजें खुद करने के काबिल हो जाता है उसको हम neonatal stage कहते हैं. और pre-pubertal stage, it is a period up to which animal becomes sexually mature. तो उसकी सेक्सुअल मेच्योरिटी हासिल करने तक या अटेन करने तक जो पीरियड होता है उसको हम प्री प्यूबर्टल स्टेज कहते हैं. और प्यूबर्टी इज द पीरियड ऑफ एन एनिमल लाइफ व्हेन इट अटेन्स sexual maturity to produce young ones and adult. It is prime and transition stage of animal reproduction. Senescence is an old age of animal when there is cessation of uh, reproduction and overall decline of body system leading to death. I have already told or explained that this is the state of being old. यानी कि इसको जब इंसान की जो एक्टिविटीज हैं उनके अंदर डिक्लाइन आना शुरू हो जाता है, उसकी ग्रोथ की एक्टिविटीज के अंदर या उनके अंदर डिटोरेशन आती है एज के साथ, और इस सारे को हम जो है वो लेके आते हैं अंडर द हेडिंग ऑफ सेंसेस. Or then we will focus on this chart that there is the stage of here you can see there is an adult, and before that that is juvenile stage, और just after hatching, ये hatching को अगर हम ये मार्क बना लें, hatching या birth जब होती है इंडिविजुअल की, उसके बाद जुवेनाइल स्टेज आती है. जुवेनाइल स्टेज जो उसकी यंग एज होती है, उसके बाद इट विल बिकम एडल्ट, एंड एडल्टहुड के बाद उसकी सेंसेंस और फिर डेथ आती है. और एडल्ट जो है यहाँ से अगर देखें तो एडल्ट्स दे हैव द कैपेसिटी of this process which is called as gametogenesis, and in case of males this is called as spermatogenesis, in case of females this is called as oogenesis, in which egg will be formed, and in case of male part there will be mainly spermatozoa will spermatozoa will form after the process of spermatogenesis, and by the fusion of egg and the sperm there will be fertilization, or fertilized egg will be produced, and there will changes in this fertilized egg. Mitotic changes will occur, and these rapid mitotic changes will be named as cleavage. There are different sub stages of the cleavage we will discuss later on in successive slides, and then there will be process of gastrulation in which 3 germ layers will be formed, and ultimately from these three germ layers there will be different organ formation, and this process of organ formation will be termed as organogenesis. Ultimately there will be a growth of the fetus in intrauterine environment, and after the end of this, birth of the newborn baby or hatching will occur. So this is the whole chart of an individual's life. So these are the different events which are going to occur in the first week of development. These are enlisted as transportation of gametes, the process of capacitation. What is the process of capacitation? We will discuss in successive slides, and how fertilization is going to occur and what is the process of fertilization. Then what are the different morula and blastula stages, and what is blastocyst formation, and the process of implantation will be discussed over here. And sorry, first of all, we will see that only one oocyte is discharged at the time of ovulation. So this is an oocyte. It is having its own cytoplasm, its nucleus, and at the time of this puberty, female begins to undergo regular monthly cycles, and these are called as sexual cycles, which are controlled by the hypothalamus. And these and then we will see that there is a release of gonadotropin releasing hormone which is termed as GnRH from the hypothalamus, and it will act on the uh, cells of the anterior lobe of the pituitary gland, which is called as adenohypophysis, and which in turn secretes gonadotropins, and these hormones are called as follicular stimulating hormone or follicle stimulating hormone, which is called as abbreviated as FSH, and another hormone called as luteinizing hormone, which is termed as LH. They will stimulate the control of cyclic changes in the ovary. At the time of beginning of each ovarian cycle, there will be 15 to 20 primary stage or pre-antral follicles. Follicular stimulating hormone will help in the maturation of different stages of the follicle, and then we will see that it will also cause the secretion of another hormone called as estrogen, and under the influence of follicular stimulating hormone and LH there will be increase in the there will be growth of the follicle will occur, which is called as primordial follicle. Primordial follicle will change into primary follicle, and primary follicles will change into secondary follicles. And among 15 to 20 follicles, one will be changed into Graafian follicle. So this all is the part of the Graafian follicle which is released during the process of ovulation. So what will happen at the time of ovulation? LH hormone level will increase, and this is called as luteinizing hormone surge. And under that, this is previously it was primary oocyte which has done, or it has completed its first meiotic division, and it was got arrested at prophase 1 under the influence of LH hormone. What will happen that this primary oocyte, ये जो egg है primary oocyte है, now it will be converted into secondary oocyte, and now it will become secondary oocyte and it will get arrested at metaphase 2. So secondary oocyte in metaphase 2 of the second meiotic division, it will be discharged. By the 14th day rupture of follicle will occur. इस एक जो follicle जिसका ये part है उसमें से ये वो rupture होगा और ये पूरे का पूरा जो part है वो बाहर निकल जाएगा, और इसको हम कहते हैं कि at the day of rupture of follicle, secondary oocyte will be released outside the ovary, and this process is termed as ovulation. This process will be termed as ovulation, and we will see that along with the secondary oocyte having its own nucleus, its cytoplasm, there will be the cell membrane, and after that there will be a glycoprotein layer which is called as zona pellucida. Zona pellucida, and some of the follicular cells which are attached to the outer coat of the zona pellucida, they will be released during the process of ovulation, and this thick coat is tightly adherent to this secondary oocyte, and the follicular cells which are making a crown like fashion, they are surrounding the oocyte, they are sticking the oocyte around the oocyte in a crown like fashion, so that's why they will be called as corona radiata. These cells, these cumulus cells, they are arranged in a crown like fashion, so that's why they will be called as corona radiata. Um, Then we come to the next part, which is called as transportation of gametes. Transportation of gametes, here you can see different parts of the female reproductive tract. Here it is the fimbriae. Fimbriae is attached to the first part of the fallopian tube, which is called as infundibulum, and here is the broadest part, which is called as ampulla, and the part near to the uterus is called as isthmus. So this is body of the uterus, and this inner layer is called as endometrium. The second one is named as myometrium, and here you can see the another part of reproductive part tract, which is called as cervix, and later on vagina. So these are the two ovaries on either side, and here you can see the infundibulum is very near to the ovary. So during transportation of gamete, what will happen? The fimbriae of the uterine tube, they will sweep to oocyte into the ampulla after ovulation. So shortly before ovulation, fimbriae of the uterine tube, they will sweep over the surface of the ovary, and the tube itself begins to contract rhythmically. यहाँ जो ट्यूब है वो उसकी रिदमिक कंट्रैक्शन और रिलैक्सेशन जो है वो स्टार्ट हो जाएगी, एंड इट इज थॉट दैट द oocyte surrounded by some granulosa cells is carried into the tube by these sweeping movements. यहाँ से जो oocyte release होगा during the process of ovulation, it will be taken up by this part or these fimbriae, and ultimately it will travel up to the this region, and motion of the cilia on the epithelial lining will help in the movement of this ova. Once the tube in the tube these cumulus cells, they will withdraw their cytoplasmic processes, and ultimately uh, they will lose contact with the oocyte. तो यहाँ पे जो granulosa cells हैं वो झड़ जाएंगे, लेकिन zona pellucida will be still over there. Once the oocyte is in the uterine tube, it is propelled by the peristaltic muscular contractions of the tube and by the cilia in the tubular mucosa. तो इसकी epithelium है वो simple columnar ciliated epithelium है, और जो सीलिएटेड मूवमेंट है उसकी वजह से जो है वो ट्यूबुलर म्यूकोसा जो है उसके अंदर ट्रांसपोर्टेशन जो है वो रेगुलेट होगी, और उसके साथ जो एंडोक्राइन स्टेटस जो उस वक्त होगा, यानी जो हार्मोन रिलीज होंगे उसके साथ, और लेटर ऑन आप देखेंगे कि स्पर्मेटोजोआ ऑन द अदर हैंड which were stored in the epididymis, they will be ejaculated, and ejaculation of the semen will result in the deposit of millions of sperms in vagina in this region, and they will travel up to this part, and they will come up to the they will pass through the uterus, and they will ultimately enter into the uterine tube, and this will be the part or the ampullary region where will be fertilization is going to occur. So fertilization is the process by which male and female gametes fuse occurs in the ampullary region of the uterine tube. In this region, this broader part of the uterine tube, this fertilization will occur. This is the widest part of the tube and is close to the ovary. And the spermatozoa may remain visible, may remain viable in the female reproductive tract for several days. So now we come to the process of capacitation, which is a period of conditioning in the female reproductive tract. What is capacitation? It is the period of conditioning within the female reproductive tract. In case of human beings, it will last up to, or it is actually having the time 7 hours, 7 hours maturation phase. Capacitation is a period of conditioning of sperms in the female reproductive tract which lasting approximately 7 hours, and this is actually a maturation phase. During this process, what will happen? Um that glycoprotein coat and seminal proteins are removed from the surface of the sperm acrosome. This is the mature spermatozoa. On the head of the spermatozoa, there is an organ, a smaller organelle, which is called as acrosome. Acrosomal cap will be there, and during the process of capacitation, glycoprotein coats which are attached to the head and as well as seminal proteins, they will be removed from the acrosome of the spermatozoa, and ultimately after this action, the spermatozoa they will become more active after capacitation. Thus they will having more speed to the ampulla, and ultimately only capacitated sperms they will get this speeding activity or speedy activity in the ampulla. But those spermatozoa which do not get capacitation process, they do not attain the speed to get fertilize the egg. Much of the conditioning during capacitation occur in the uterine tube, and it was इसके अंदर जो है epithelial interaction जो है spermatozoa और mucosal surface of the tube जो है उसकी वजह से जो है conditioning होती है. During this time, what will happen? Firstly, the glycoprotein layer or coat will and the seminal plasma proteins they will be removed from the plasma membrane which is overlying on the acrosomal region. So ultimately, capacitated spermatozoa can pass through the corona cells and undergo the acrosomal reaction. Only capacitated spermatozoa they can pass through the corona cells and undergo the acrosomal reaction, and it will result in the release of enzymes needed to penetrate the zona pellucida mediated by the protein which is named as ligand protein. एक ligand protein होती है जो कि zona pellucida के ऊपर की ही प्रोटीन होती है जिसको हम जोना प्रोटीन में से एक ZP3 प्रोटीन है उसको कहेंगे. So acrosome reaction which occur after binding to the zona pellucida, and it includes and it will be induced by the zona proteins or particularly by the ZP3, and this reaction will ultimately helpful in the release of the enzymes which are needed to penetrate the zona pellucida. What are those enzymes? They include acrosine and trypsin like substances, and ultimately this will helpful to penetrate the spermatozoa into this spermatozoa will easily help will go inside the corona radiata part and penetrate through the oocyte membranes. Now we will see that what is process of fertilization, process by which male and female gametes fuse to form zygote, or which is actually fertilized egg is called as process of fertilization. It will occur in the ampullary region, which is the widest part of the uterine tube, and we will see different phases of fertilization, and these different phases of fertilization include phase 1, which is penetration of the corona radiata, penetration of the spermatozoa into corona radiata, and second is the penetration of the zona pellucida, and the third one is the fusion of the oocyte and sperm cell membranes. So we will see in the first phase that what will happen. You know that approximately 200 to 300 millions of spermatozoa normally they will be deposited in the female reproductive tract. So fertilization is the process by which male and female gametes fuse to form zygote, which is a fertilized egg. And these are the different phases of fertilization, which include penetration of corona radiata, number 2 penetration of the zona pellucida, and number 3 is the fusion of the oocyte and sperm cell membranes. So during this, what will happen after the fertilization process? That is actually results of fertilization, restoration of the diploid number, chromosomes, fusion of two pronuclei, male and female pronuclei results in the formation of zygote, and 44, which is actually 44 XS or XY, and second is the determination of the sex of the new individual. An X carrying sperm produces a female, which is XX embryo, and Y carrying sperm produces a male, which is XY embryo. And then there will be initiation of mitotic division, which is called as cleavage. So we will see next happen what is going to happen in the cleavage part. Cleavage is a series of mitotic cell divisions. Once the zygote reaches the 2-cell stage, it increasing the number of cells. So there will be cells which are called as blastomeres, which are the cells that will become smaller with every cleavage division. जो सेल्स हैं वो हर क्लीवेज डिवीजन के साथ अपने साइज में छोटे होते जाते हैं, उन सेल्स को हम ब्लास्टोमियर्स कहते हैं. एंड फर्स्टली देयर विल बी अ मोरुला स्टेज which is 16 cell stage, and it will occur approximately 3 days after fertilization. Still, this oocyte is surrounded by zona pellucida, which is a glycoprotein there. It will constitute the inner cell mass and outer cell mass. So you will see this is a fertilized zygote at the day 1. You can see the 2-cell stage, and at day 2 there will be 4-cell stage. Day 3 is actually 16-cell stage, which is just resembling to the mulberry, or this stage will be called as morula stage. And after that there will be day 4, and this is actually 32 cell stage. Now we will see that the cells which will become smaller with each cleavage division, they will be known as blastomeres, and until the 8 cell stage तक जो है वो they will form a loosely arranged clump, and after that after third cleavage they will be arranged, these blastomeres they will maximize their contact with each other and forming a compact ball बन जाएगा इसके अंदर. And this process is of cell which are hold together by tight junctions. This process is called as compaction. ये compaction हो जाएगी इनके अंदर, और there will be segregation of inner cells from the outer cells, and ultimately the inner cells they will having contact with the gap junctions with one another, and outer they will having this tight junction contact with each other. And approximately 3 days after fertilization, cells of the compacted embryo, they will divide again to form the 16 cell stage. Here you can see this is the ovary, and after ovulation, this ova is taken up by the sweeping movement of the fimbriae into the uterine tube, and fertilization will occur after within uterine tube after 12 to 24 hours after ovulation. And here you can see that the cleavage is going to occur after this fertilization. And this cleavage or mitotic division with first cleavage will be completed about 30 hours after fertilization, and after that this ball is going towards the isthmus part of the fallopian tube. And now at 3 to 4 days after fertilization, this compact mass will be termed as morula stage, and this morula is going inside the uterine tube. And this blastocyst, this stage is actually blastula, and this whole ball like structure is now called as blastocyst, which will be formed after 4.5 to 5th day after fertilization. And this is the uterine cavity. And by the end of the 6th day, or up to the 7th day of post fertilization, implantation will occur into the uterine cavity into the uterine endometrial wall. This is the uterus, and the innermost layer of the uterus will be termed as endometrium. Then there will be myometrium, and after that is the perimetrium. So, how blastocyst formation occur? You can see here. These are the stages of two cell stage. Zona pellucida is still at the outer region or boundary region of this two cell stage is present. Then there will be four cell stage, and after that there will be 8 cell stage. And then there is a compact mass, mulberry like mass is formed, which is called as morula, and still it is covered by zona pellucida. And now what will happen in this mulberry like part, two portions will be very much prominent. The outer cells, they will have tight junctions, and they are tightly coiled with one another, while the inner cells, they are loosely arranged. And ultimately that process was called as compaction. And these cells, they the outer cell mass will make trophoblast, and the inner cell mass will be changed into embryoblast. And the embryoblast cells, now they are attaching to one pole of the blastocyst. And this what will happen, there will be a cavity is going to develop into the this ball like structure. As the uterine milk will enter into this blastocyst, this cavity will be called as blastocele. And ultimately at the later stage of the blastula, you will see this blastocele is very much bigger, and these outer cells, they will be termed as trophoblast. And the embryoblast, they are attached to one pole of the this blastocyst, and this pole will be termed as embryonic pole. And This is the trophoblast, which will be later on work as a trophic or nourishment for the nourishment of the developing embryo. And this is called as mural trophoblast. Trophoblast. Now you can see that the zona pellucida, which were present at the early blastula stage, it is going to disappear. This zona pellucida has disappeared, allowing the implantation to begin. In case of human, these trophoblastic cells over the embryoblast pole begin to penetrate between the epithelial cells of the uterine mucosa, this region. So this over the embryoblast pole, these cells, they will begin to penetrate between the epithelial cells of the uterine mucosa on about the sixth day. And very early studies now, they suggest that there will be L-selectin or trophoblast cells, and its carbohydrate receptors on the uterine epithelium. They will initiate, or they will mediate the initial attachment of the blastocyst to the uterus. So by the end of the first week, what will happen? By the end of first week of development, the human zygote has passed through the morula, and there will be a human embryo will pass through these stages: morula and blastocyst stages, early blastula and late blastula, in which you can see that outer coating of the glycoprotein or zona pellucida has disappeared, and it will begin, or it will start the implantation in the uterine mucosa. So the time morula enters the uterine cavity, day 4 after fertilization, a fluid-filled space which is called as blastocele appears inside the morula, and now the conception, this is called as blastocyst. This is called as blastocyst, and this stage will be termed as blastula stage. And now the inner cell mass will be termed as embryoblast, which will make the embryo, and the outer cell mass, this epithelial lining, will be termed as trophoblast, and ultimately the outer cell mass will be differentiating into this trophoblast. Here you can see that embryoblast, the inner cells, they are giving rise to embryo proper, and you can see the degenerating zona pellucida in the early embryonic, early blastocyst stage. This is zona pellucida which is going to degenerate, and here you cannot find any zona pellucida in late blastocyst stage, while the trophoblast will be later contributing to the placenta formation. Zona pellucida will gradually degenerate and disappear fourth or fifth day after fertilization, and ultimately it will be helpful for the implantation to occur, and further development of the embryoblast is regulated by maternal genes, and trophoblast by paternal genes. So it is very important that embryoblast is regulated by डेवलपमेंट, जो है एम्ब्रियो की जो डेवलपमेंट है वो मैटरनल जीन से रेगुलेटेड होगी, और ट्रोफोब्लास्ट यानी जो प्लेसेंटा फॉर्मेशन है उसकी पैटर्नल जीन जो है उसके अंदर इम्पॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले करेंगे. So what is implantation? An event that occurs early in the human pregnancy in which the human embryo adheres to the wall of the uterus. So when it is going to occur, it is going to occur by the end of first week, and in the initiation of, or by the beginning of second week of embryo development. And where it is going to occur, it is happening in the endometrium of the uterine wall. This implantation is actually penetration of the conceptus into the endometrial wall, which is usually posterior superior aspect of the uterus. This black dot is actually that blastocyst, late blastocyst, which is attached over here, and this is posterior superior aspect of the uterus. And here you can see this sphere like whole mass is penetrating into the endometrium of the uterine wall. So ultimately this process is called as implantation. What is going to happen with the uterus at the time of implantation? We know that wall of the uterus consists of three layers. Innermost layer is endometrium, then there will be muscle layer that is termed as myometrium, and later on it is the last layer is called as perimetrium. So the proliferative phase, it will begin at the end of the menstrual phase under the influence of estrogen, and there will be parallel growth of ovarian follicles. The secretory phase will begin. There are different phases. Proliferative phase जहाँ पे proliferation होनी है ovarian follicles की, और secretory phase will begin approximately 2 to 3 days after ovulation, and ultimately in response to the progesterone produced by the corpus luteum. तो अगर fertilization नहीं होती, or you can say fertilization does not occur, shedding of the endometrium marks the beginning of the menstrual phase. और अगर fertilization हो जाती है तो ultimately उसके बाद endometrium जो है it will assist in the implantation and contribute to the formation of placenta. So later in gestational period, the placenta assumes the role of hormone produced production, and that corpus luteum will degenerate. यानी पहले तो इनिशियली जो प्रोजेस्ट्रॉन है वो कॉर्पस ल्यूटियम से प्रोड्यूस होगा, अगर यहाँ पे एट द टाइम ऑफ इम्प्लांटेशन एंडोमेट्रियम जो है वो विल बी इन सेक्रीटरी फेज, सेक्रीटरी फेज में होगी. सेक्रीटरी फेज जो है it will begin approximately 2 to 3 days after ovulation in response to the progesterone produced by the corpus luteum. So ultimately it will be helpful for this. So in this way endometrium will assist in the implantation and contribute to the formation of placenta. So this was all about the different events occurring in the first week of development of the embryo.